Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts rapid expansion of gas-based economy must to achieve self-reliant India. Supreme Court clears Central Vista project in national capital. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 96.32%. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson postpones visit to India citing need to oversee response to COVID-19 pandemic in the United Kingdom. Toycathon 2021 launched to promote manufacturing of indigenous toys based on Indian value system. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has asserted that rapid expansion of gas-based economy is a must to achieve self-reliant India. The Prime Minister was speaking after dedicating to the nation the Kochi-Mangaluru natural gas pipeline through video conferencing today.
Our energy agenda is all-inclusive. Since 2014, we have brought in various reforms across the oil and gas sector. These reforms cover exploration and production, natural gas marketing and distribution. We plan to achieve one nation, one gas grid. We also want to shift to gas-based economy. The use of natural gas has several environmental benefits. The government is taking policy initiative to increase the share of natural gas in India's energy basket from 6% to 15%.
The 450-kilometre-long natural gas pipeline has been built by GAIL India Limited between Kochi in Kerala and Mangaluru in Karnataka. The Prime Minister termed the day as an important milestone for the people of both Kerala and Karnataka. While listing the advantages of the pipeline, the Prime Minister emphasized that the pipeline would improve ease of living in both the states and reduce the expenses of the poor, middle class and entrepreneurs of both the states.
This is an important day for India, especially for the people of Kerala and Karnataka. These 2 states are being connected by a natural gas pipeline. I congratulate to people of these states. Congratulations also to all stakeholders for taking steps to providing clean energy infrastructure. The pipeline will have a positive impact on the economic growth of these 2 states.
Mr. Modi said the pipeline would become the base of the gas distribution system in many cities and would form the base of the CNG-based transport system in these cities. The Prime Minister stressed that the pace of work in the connectivity front in the country happening now has never been seen before in earlier decades. Mr. Modi said at present work is underway on more than 16,000 kilometers of gas pipeline nationwide, which will be completed in the next 5 to 6 years.
2014 तक यानी 27 साल 27 इयर्स में भारत में 15,000 किलोमीटर नेचुरल गैस पाइपलाइन बनी. आज देश भर में पूरब, पश्चिम, उत्तर, दक्षिण 16,000 किलोमीटर से ज्यादा नई गैस पाइपलाइन पर काम चल रहा है. ये काम अगले 4-6 साल में पूरा होने वाला है. आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं जितना काम 27 वर्षों में हुआ, हम उससे ज्यादा काम उसके आधे समय में करने का लक्ष्य लेकर चल रहे हैं.
The Prime Minister said the policy initiatives of his government has reduced dependency on kerosene in the states due to the increased usage of cooking gas.
एक बड़ी वजह रही कि कोरोना काल में देश में रसोई गैस की किल्लत कभी नहीं हुई. गरीब से गरीब को हम उस मुश्किल समय में करीब 12 करोड़ मुफ्त सिलेंडर उपलब्ध करा पाए. साथियों, सरकार के इन प्रयासों का, इतनी तेजी से किए जा रहे कार्यों का एक और प्रभाव हुआ है. इसकी चर्चा उतनी हो नहीं पाती। याद करिए, हमारे यहाँ केरोसिन को लेकर कितनी लंबी लंबी लाइनें लगा करती थी। आज जब रसोई के लिए गैस आसानी से मिल रही है, तो केरोसिन की किल्लत भी कम हुई है।
Mr. Modi said the development of the coastal areas and welfare of hard-working fishermen is one of the important priorities of the government. He outlined a multi-pronged plan for coastal area development comprising transforming the blue economy, improvement of coastal infrastructure and protecting the marine ecosystem. He said the blue economy is going to be an important source of Atmanirbhar India.
केरला हो, कर्नाटका हो, साउथ इंडिया के हर राज्य में जो समंदर से सटे हैं, वहां ब्लू इकोनॉमी के विकास के लिए एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्लान पर काम हो रहा है। ब्लू इकोनॉमी आत्मनिर्भर भारत का एक बहुत बड़ा स्रोत बनने वाला है। हमारे पोर्ट्स हो, कोस्टल रोड्स हो, इनको दूसरे माध्यमों से कनेक्ट किया जा रहा है। मल्टी मॉडल कनेक्टिविटी पर हमारा विशेष फोकस है। हमारा कोस्टल रीजन ईज ऑफ लिविंग का भी मॉडल हो रहा है। ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस भी बेहतरीन हो, इसी लक्ष्य के साथ काम किया जा रहा है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that Atmanirbhar Bharat rests on the twin principles of scale and standards. Posting his thoughts on Atmanirbhar Bharat in LinkedIn, he said India wants to make more. At the same time, it wants to make products that are of good quality. Mr. Modi said India does not want to merely fill global markets with its products. It wants Indian products to win the hearts of people around the world. Mr. Modi said India is a powerhouse of skill and talent, and the success of our startup industry shows the innovative zeal of our youth. He said new products and services are being created rapidly, and there is also a huge market both domestically and globally waiting to be tapped.
The Supreme Court today gave its nod to the Central Vista project in the national capital in a majority verdict. The court upheld the environmental clearance and notification for change in land use for the Central Vista project. In its judgment, the Apex Court said the exercise of the power under the Delhi Development Authority (DDA) Act was valid and the recommendations of environmental clearance by the Ministry of Environment were proper. The three-judge bench comprising Justices Dinesh Maheshwari, A.M. Khanwilkar and Sanjeev Khanna also called upon the Environment Ministry to install smog towers in future projects, particularly in those cities where pollution is an issue. The Apex Court said in its judgment that the Heritage Conservation Committee approval is needed when construction work is to begin. It also directed the project proponents to get approval from the Heritage Committee. The top court was hearing a batch of petitions that questioned whether the project complied with the land use and environmental regulations peculiar to the area that houses the Parliament and the Central Secretariat buildings. Earlier, the Supreme Court on the 7th of December had allowed the foundation stone laying ceremony for the new Parliament building, but on 10th of December it directed that no construction should take place. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had laid the foundation stone of the new Parliament building, which is a part of the 20,000 crore rupees Central Vista project. Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has welcomed the judgment of Supreme Court giving the go-ahead for the ambitious Central Vista project. In a tweet, the minister said the central government has always been sensitive to environmental concerns and will continue to adhere to the highest standards during the period of construction. He added that Delhi is on course to becoming a world-class capital city and a new parliament building will be ready by the time the nation completes 75 years of its independence in 2022.
Railway Minister Piyush Goyal today launched a freight business development portal as one-stop solution for all the needs of freight customers. The minister said that Indian Railways is an invisible thread which connects the length and breadth of India. During the lockdown, Railways showed its resolve in delivering the essential supplies to the nation in most challenging times and keep national supply chains running. The new portal will be a game changer in ensuring ease of doing business with railways. The minister said that last 6 years have seen an extraordinary development in all spheres of railway operations. He said Indian Railways is getting future ready. The Indian Railways has rebuffed reports in certain sections of the media making baseless claims about possibility of hike in passenger fares. Railways said these products have no factual basis and any proposal to increase the passenger fare is currently not under consideration. It also urged media to refrain from publishing or circulating such unfounded claims.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts rapid expansion of gas-based economy must to achieve self-reliant India. Supreme Court clears Central Vista project in the national capital. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 96.32%. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson postpones visit to India, citing need to oversee response to COVID-19 pandemic in the United Kingdom. And Toycathon 2021 launched to promote manufacturing of indigenous toys based on Indian value system. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the evening news. The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 96.32%. During the last 24 hours, a total of 29,091 COVID patients recovered. The Union Health Ministry said the total number of recoveries has gone up to 99,75,958. During the past 24 hours, 16,375 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to over 1,356,000. During the last 24 hours, 201 deaths were reported, taking the toll to 1,49,850. The actual caseload currently comprises only 2.23% of the total positive cases. The government today said, based on the feedback of the dry run, the government is ready to introduce COVID-19 vaccine within 10 days from the date of emergency use authorization. The Drugs Controller General of India, DCGI, on Sunday had announced the approval of 2 vaccines for restricted use in the country. Briefing media, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan noted that the final decision lies with the government.
EUA के 10 दिन के भीतर, EUA का अर्थ है इमरजेंसी यूज ऑथराइजेशन, ये बोलचाल की भाषा में शब्द प्रयुक्त होता है. हमारे कानून में एक्सेलरेटेड अप्रूवल फ्रेज का इस्तेमाल किया गया है. तो जिस भी दिन हुआ उस दिन से 10 दिन के भीतर में ये रोल आउट होने की पूरी तैयारी है.
Mr. Bhushan said in any immunization program in India, manufacturers first transport vaccines to 4 primary vaccine stores across the country, from where it is transported in bulk to 37 state vaccine stores and then to districts and finally to primary health centers. Mr. Bhushan said the 4 primary vaccine stores called Government Medical Store Depot GMSD located in Karnal, Mumbai, Chennai and Kolkata, and there are 37 vaccine stores in the country. They store vaccines in bulk and distribute them further. He said a large-scale dry run was conducted in all states and union territories on Saturday with an objective to test operational feasibility of use of CoWIN, assess linkage between planning and implementation, and identify challenges before actual implementation. The Health Secretary said only 43.96% of the total active cases of COVID-19 are under treatment in healthcare facilities.
एक जो बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण बात है जो हम पहली बार आपसे शेयर कर रहे हैं वो ये है कि हालांकि हमारे पास 2.5 लाख से कम एक्टिव केसेस हैं, इनमें से केवल 44% मामले ऐसे हैं जो अस्पतालों में हैं, यानी जो मॉडरेट या सीवियर सिम्टम से ग्रसित हैं, एंड दैट इज व्हाई दे नीड रेगुलर मेडिकल केयर. But 56% cases are those which are very mild or asymptomatic cases and are in home isolation.
The Prime Minister's Citizen Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situation PM CARES Fund Trust is allocating 201.58 crore rupees for installation of additional 162 dedicated pressure swing adsorption PSA medical oxygen generation plants inside public health facilities in the country. The total project cost includes 137.33 crore rupees towards supply and commissioning of the plants and management fee of the Central Medical Supply Store and around 64.25 crore rupees towards comprehensive annual maintenance contract. Uttar Pradesh government is making all arrangements for the COVID vaccination drive in the state. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath today held a high-level meeting with district-level officers of Police Administration and Health Department through video conferencing regarding the preparations for vaccination drive. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
Additional Chief Secretary Information Navneet Sehgal said that today the dry run for COVID vaccination was conducted across the state successfully. He said that during COVID vaccination, all the guidelines issued by Union Government will be strictly followed. Whatever order has been decided for COVID vaccination by the central government, that will be followed in state and it will not be changed at any cost. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath today inspected the process of dry run in Ram Manohar Lohia Hospital of state capital Lucknow. Meanwhile, the total number of active COVID patients in state has further decreased to 12,386. In last 24 hours, only 771 new COVID cases have been found. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Maharashtra's Health Minister Rajesh Tope has said the state will conduct another dry run on the 8th of this month in each district to ensure there is no loophole before the actual rollout of the coronavirus vaccine. A report from our Mumbai correspondent.
Stating that the vaccination program is likely to begin soon, Mr. Tope said cold storage and supply facilities are being readied for the rollout. Addressing a press conference in Mumbai today, Mr. Tope said data of almost 7.9 lakh health workers has been registered on the CoWIN app that will be used for the vaccination program. Health workers will receive the vaccine for free. Expressing concern over the resumption of flights between UK and India, Mr. Tope said the state will have to increase screening and testing of passengers to ensure that the number of new cases do not rise. Nisha Rani, AIR News, Mumbai.
In view of considerable improvement in the COVID-19 situation in Himachal Pradesh, the state cabinet has decided to lift the night curfew imposed in 4 districts, Shimla, Kangra, Mandi and Kullu, from tomorrow onwards. The state government has also decided to restore the usual 6-day week schedule in government offices in the state. The decision was taken in a cabinet meeting chaired by Chief Minister Jairam Thakur in Shimla today. The cabinet also decided to allow coaching classes in the state with 50% capacity. Minority Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has said arrangements are being made to administer coronavirus vaccines to those who will be going for Hajj later this year. He was speaking to reporters after chairing a meeting of the Hajj committee officials in Mumbai this afternoon. With the 10th of January being the last date for applying for the pilgrimage, the minister informed that 50% of the total applications received so far are from women, including 700 of those who wish to go without mehram or the male companion. Hajj 2021 is scheduled for June-July 2021. Union Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has said the government will review the flight connectivity status with the UK if the situation calls for it. Speaking to a news agency today, Mr. Puri said the government is vigilantly monitoring the COVID situation in the UK and the reduction in number of flights from 60 in a week to 30 has been taken in the same light. He said the decision on limited resumption of civil aviation traffic between India and the United Kingdom is based on an assessment of the available facts. Mr. Puri said since the RT-PCR tests are done 72 hours ahead of the travel, therefore a retest on arrival has also been made mandatory for the UK flight passengers.
The trip of the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson to India later this month has been postponed. Mr. Johnson, in a telephonic conversation with Prime Minister Narendra Modi earlier today, expressed his regret for being unable to visit India later this month as planned, citing the need to oversee the pandemic response in the United Kingdom. Mr. Johnson said that in light of the national lockdown in the UK and the speed at which the new coronavirus variant is spreading there, it is important for him to remain in the country so that he can focus on the domestic response to the virus. The two leaders emphasized on their shared commitment to the bilateral relationship and to continue to build on the close collaboration between India and the UK. Mr. Johnson said that he hopes to be able to visit India in the first half of 2021 and ahead of the UK's G7 summit, which will also be attended by Mr. Modi. Alexander Ellis has been appointed as the new British High Commissioner to India in succession to Sir Philip Barton. Mr. Ellis will take up his appointment this month. He was holding the portfolio of Deputy National Security Advisor in the United Kingdom.
U.S. Ambassador to India Ken Juster has said that Washington is committed towards enhancing bilateral relationship with New Delhi. Speaking at his farewell event in New Delhi today, he said the U.S. has been making concerted efforts to support India's rise on the world stage. Mr. Juster said that the U.S. national security strategy welcomed India's emergence as a leading power and a stronger strategic and defense partner way back in 2017 itself. In Ladakh, Imam Khomeini Memorial Trust IKMT, on behalf of the people of Kargil, strongly condemned the barbaric murder of 11 coal miners in Pakistan belonging to minority Shia Hazara community by terrorists. As per a press note of the General Secretary of the organization, it expressed deep concern on the continued brutal killings of the Hazara Shias in Quetta and other places in Pakistan by unabated terrorist forces and condemned the failure of the government of Pakistan in protecting the lives of minorities.
Union Education Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank and Union Minister for Textiles and Women and Child Development Smriti Zubin Irani today jointly launched the Toykathon 2021. This Toykathon aims to promote manufacturing of innovative indigenous toys based on Indian value system, which will inculcate the positive behavior and good value among the children. While briefing the media in New Delhi today, the Education Minister said this will prove to be a milestone in the direction of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan.
स्वदेशी खिलौने में जो भारत की विरासत और सांस्कृतिक संदर्भ है, जिसमें बच्चों को सीखने के साथ कुछ ऐसी भी चीज गर्व की भावना उसमें समाहित हो सके, ये खिलौने इसलिए उनको जानकारी हो सके DRDO के बारे में, DEA के बारे में, IIITs, आईसर, NITs, जितने भी राष्ट्र नायकों के बारे में, छत्रपति शिवाजी हो, राणा हो, झांसी की रानी हो, सरदार पटेल हो, परमवीर चक्र पुरस्कार विजेता हो, आर्यभट्ट हो, तमाम वो लोग हमारे सामने हैं जिन्होंने पूरे विश्व के लिए कुछ दे करके उनके आधार पर ये भारत केंद्रित विज्ञान और ज्ञान के साथ किस तरीके से उन खिलौनों के माध्यम से हम भारत को आत्मनिर्भर भारत बना सकते हैं.
Appreciating the initiative, Textiles and Women and Child Development Minister Smriti Irani said that this is the first time when school children will innovate, design and conceptualize toys.
Atmanirbhar Bharat with regards to this segment of toy manufacturing. It is $100 billion international toy market in which India finds a space of our indigenous market to the value of $1.5 billion. We are growing at the rate of 15% per year, but this growth should bear positive fruits and results for our industry, and that is why today the Ministry of Education has my gratitude, because we are reaching out through this Toykathon for the first time to students and faculty members across the country in all schools, colleges, universities.
The Toykathon will majorly focus on conceptualizing new and innovative toys using local material which are economical, affordable, safe and environment friendly. The grand finale of the event will be organized from 23rd to 25th of next month. There will be two categories for the Toykathon. One is for online toys and another for physical toys. In an exclusive interview to All India Radio, Union Education Minister Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank said the new education policy will help in overall development of students.
हमारा प्राथमिक शिक्षा 10+2 को खत्म कर दिया है. 5+3+3+4 लाई है. 5 को भी दो भागों में बांटा है. पहले 3 वर्ष आंगनबाड़ी और 2 वर्ष फिर प्री स्कूल में किया है. 3 वर्ष जो बच्चा होगा उसमें सीखने की सबसे ज्यादा क्षमता होती है. वैज्ञानिकों ने इस बात को कहा है कि 3 से 6 वर्ष तक के बच्चे में सबसे ज्यादा मस्तिष्क का विकास होता है. तो हम उसका भी लाभ लेना चाहते हैं और अपनी मातृभाषा में ही वो सीखे, आगे अध्ययन करें.
For the full interview, tune in to our Spotlight program on FM Gold channel at 9:15 tonight.
In our special series Year-Ender 2020, today we bring you a report on Startup India. After coming to power in 2014, the Narendra Modi government has given special focus on startups to promote innovation. Startup India campaign was first announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his 15th August 2015 address from the Red Fort. Mr. Modi said the government is taking several steps to promote young entrepreneurs in the country, interacting with young startup entrepreneurs and innovators from across the country through video conferencing on the 6th of June 2018. The Prime Minister highlighted that adequate capital, courage and connecting with people are required for excelling in the startup sector.
स्टार्टअप इंडिया के माध्यम से अपने कौशल को अवसर से जोड़ा, अपना स्वयं का उद्यम शुरू किया और अपने जैसे और कई युवाओं को रोजगार भी दिया। आप वो युवा हैं जो तरक्की के रास्ते पर एक कदम आगे बढ़े और जिनके बढ़ने से देश नए भारत की ओर 2 कदम आगे बढ़ा है। यह सब उस बदलते भारत की पहचान है जहां हमारा युवा रोजगार मांगने वाला नहीं, रोजगार देने वाला बन रहा है।
The action plan of this initiative focused on 3 areas: simplification and hand-holding, funding support and incentives, and industry-academia partnership and incubation. Our correspondent traces the journey.
With over 40,000 recognized startups, India has transformed into the 3rd largest startup ecosystem, supplementing employability as well as enhancing self-reliance. Startup India's role has been vital in nurturing entrepreneurship beyond Tier 1 cities. With the launch of the Startup India campaign, recognized startups have now spread across 586 districts with a total of 29 states and UTs with startup policies in place, creating more than 4.2 lakh jobs. Entrepreneurs now have options to avail benefits across a range of laws, regulations, fiscal and infrastructural support. Startup India has also played a pivotal role in strengthening the key pillars identified for startup economy. 10,294 crore rupees startup fund has been launched by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry to promote availability of risk capital in the Indian economy. Startup India has facilitated procurement from startups on the government e-marketplace GEM portal. Presently, 7,438 startups have received serviced orders worth over 1,800 crore rupees on GEM portal. To further bridge the Indian startup ecosystem with the global ecosystem, engagement models with 11 countries including Korea, UK, Netherlands, Sweden, Portugal have been built. Startup India launched the Startup Yatra in 2017, which took the momentum to rural and non-metro regions, reaching the grassroots level of the states. The National Startup Hours have been conceptualized to further strengthen the Indian startup ecosystem. Atal Tinkering Labs by the Atal Innovation Mission aims to inculcate entrepreneurial skills in school students. Over 14,000 schools have been selected to set up Atal Tinkering Labs. Saubhagya Ka Air News.
West Bengal Minister of State in charge of Sports and Youth Services Lakshmi Ratan Shukla resigned from the Mamata Banerjee cabinet today. Sources said Mr. Shukla has sent his resignation letter to Chief Minister and TMC President Mamata Banerjee. The former Indian cricketer turned politician Shukla has also resigned from the post of Howrah District President of the ruling party Trinamool Congress. Lakshmi Ratan Shukla had joined the TMC before the last assembly polls and was elected from Howrah Uttar Assembly constituency in 2016 elections.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The city will observe minimum temperature of around 12 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 20 degrees. Mumbai will experience partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 24 and 27 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will vary between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. In Kolkata, there will be fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later. The city will observe minimum temperature of 17 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 29 degrees. Srinagar will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between -2 degrees Celsius and 5 degrees. In Jammu, there will be partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature will be 10 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 21 degrees. Leh will have light snow. The minimum temperature will be -10 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be -1 degree. Gilgit will experience rain or snow. The minimum temperature will hover between -4 degrees to 10 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. The temperature will move between 4 to 12 degrees Celsius. Dehradun will observe minimum temperature of 12 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 22 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts rapid expansion of gas-based economy must to achieve self-reliant India. Supreme Court clears Central Vista project in national capital. Country's COVID-19 recovery rate reaches 96.32%. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson postpones visit to India, citing need to oversee response to COVID-19 pandemic in the United Kingdom. And Toycathon 2021 launched to promote manufacturing of indigenous toys based on Indian value system. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. With that, we end the evening news. Good night.